I fought to keep my connection with my 46-year-old independent son who had a life outside of our relationship. I wanted to spend more time with him, but I'm thankful that the reason we didn't was because we were estranged. We were not estranged. At times, we became so frustrated with each other. Oh my goodness. But we both fought to stay connected, even when we both felt misunderstood and unappreciated. Even when we became angry and felt like giving up. So when I got the news that Herman was gone, I was thankful I had seen him just 2 days prior. I had a chance to sit with him, to kiss his big bald head and pray for him. I got a chance to fight the nurse to bring him the crackers that he had requested but never got. I got a chance to question the doctors about his care. I got a chance to tell him what was happening with me and to hear his insistence on leaving the hospital sooner than he should. I took frequent opportunities to say, I love you, and to send encouraging words and scriptures. However, I did have regrets.
Welcome to Get Real with Alexis Jones. On this podcast, we'll dive into real relationships with real people guided by the wisdom and perspective of some of the most seasoned voices in our community, our beloved seniors. Each week, we'll unpack the joys, challenges, and lessons learned about love, family, friendship, and everything in between. This is a space for heartfelt conversations, eye-opening truths, and powerful stories that will inspire and challenge the way you think about relationships. We're keeping it honest, unfiltered, and deeply meaningful. So settle in and let's get ready to get real. Let's jump in.
Welcome back to Get Real with Alexis. This is a place where we talk about life, sometimes loss, healings, and the things we don't always want to say out loud. I am your host, Alexis, and today we are exploring a tender but very real topic. What happens when someone we love dies and we still have unresolved issues with them? Maybe it's an argument that never got settled. Maybe it's forgiveness we never gave or never received. Maybe it's simply words left unsaid. If you've ever carried that weight, believe me, you are not alone. Unresolved issues after someone dies feels like a backpack that you can't take off. It's heavy with what ifs and if only and whys. If only I had called one more time. If only I had let go of my pride. If only I had been the bigger person. When someone passes away, we often feel the pressure to remember only the good times. But grief is complicated. The truth is that most relationships aren't tied up neatly with a bow, right? We argue, we misunderstand, we leave things unsaid, we say things we shouldn't. And when death comes, there's no more opportunity for that late night conversation, that apology, or that hug that might make everything better. But here's what I've learned. Regret can be a teacher, even if it's a painful one. It teaches us about what really matters. It teaches us that silence can be just as loud as spoken words. And it teaches us that love is more important than winning an argument. Unresolved issues can leave us feeling stuck, like we're holding a bag of bricks that gets heavier and heavier each day. Regret, guilt, even anger. They don't disappear just because the other person is gone. I remember talking with someone who lost her father after years of not speaking. He passed suddenly, and she was left with so many what ifs. What if she had called one more time? What if she had just let go of the anger? She told me it felt like trying to finish a conversation with the phone line cut off. If you've had a similar experience, maybe you know that feeling, wishing for one more chance, one more opportunity to explain, forgive, or to be forgiven. I'm keenly aware that the life of someone you love can be suddenly cut off. With that loss comes a lot of whys. But loss can also come with many what ifs, as I said earlier, especially if there were unresolved issues. When my son Herman passed away 8 months ago, those questions came flooding in. The whys were an attempt for this great loss to make sense. The whys were also in defiance of his death. I asked, how could this be? And why? Endlessly. I had what if questions as well. I fought to keep my connection with my 46-year-old independent son who had a life outside of our relationship. I wanted to spend more time with him, but I'm thankful that the reason we didn't was because we were estranged. We were not estranged. At times, we became so frustrated with each other. Oh my goodness. But we both fought to stay connected, even when we both felt misunderstood and unappreciated, even when we became angry and felt like giving up. So when I got the news that Herman was gone, I was thankful. I had seen him just 2 days prior. I had a chance to sit with him, to kiss his big bald head and pray for him. I got a chance to fight the nurse to bring him the crackers that he had requested but never got. I got a chance to question the doctors about his care. I got a chance to tell him what was happening with me and to hear his insistence on leaving the hospital sooner than he should. I took frequent opportunities to say, I love you, and to send encouraging words and scriptures. However, I did have regret. I regretted that I wasn't a better mother. I regretted that I wasn't a better listener and that I was more patient. I regretted that I wasn't as understanding as Herman needed me to be. Although we loved each other to the moon and back, we both knew that I had regrets. I had unresolved issues. In grief, unresolved issues can keep you stuck and thwarted in terms of healing and being able to move forward. The bigger problem is what can be done now? Your loved one is gone. The good news is this: healing is still possible, even if the other person isn't here. Here are a few ways people find peace after their loved one has gone. Write them a letter. Say everything you never got to say. Don't hold back your words or your emotions. Pour them out. I wrote a letter to God and to Herman and to my family. Some people even read the letter at their loved one's gravesite or burn it as a symbolic release. The other thing you can do is talk it out. This could be with a trusted friend or a therapist or even aloud to an empty chair. Sometimes our heart just needs to express the words. The third thing you could do is forgive yourself. Remember, you were human. You are human. You both are human. No relationship is perfect. Be gentle with yourself for what didn't happen. Give yourself some grace. And finally, honor them. Even if you had conflicts, you can still celebrate the parts of their life that mattered. Light a candle, cook their favorite meal, share their story with others. I've done all four of these. I've written letters, I've talked it out to someone close to me, to a therapist, and even to Herman. I forgave myself, and in my letter, I asked for Herman's forgiveness as well. Now I want to find ways to honor him and keep his memory alive. I want to try and share something very personal with you on this episode. I wrote a long letter to my son. I won't read that, but you may be surprised to know that Herman wrote a letter to me. He answered my letter. I won't explain how, but I received the letter in March of 2025 after he passed in January of 2025. If you've had a similar experience, no explanation is necessary. Now, this is probably going to be very difficult, but I want to share the letter with you that I received from Herman. I have only read it twice, so I'm going to try to get through it now. Letter from Herman, dated March 6, 2025. This is a memory book that I developed and created for Herman. Has lots of pictures, lots of explanations of different events in his life. But let me read the letter I was referring to. Hey, Mom. He always said, hey, Mom. Anytime he sent me a text or an email or called me, hey, Mom. So he says, hey, Mom, I know you miss me and I know you're hurting. I'm okay, and I need you to be okay too. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to say goodbye. I know that when I dropped you off after being discharged, you'd never imagined it would be the last time we saw each other. Me neither. I hurt for you. I love you, Mom. I wish I had listened more. I wish I had talked more about the things I struggle with. But as you know, as I shared, I tend to isolate when I'm in trouble. It's not that I thought you didn't care. I know how much you love me. I don't know why I thought it best to go through difficulties alone. It was not your fault. I know you will still cry more tears, but I want your life to be filled with so much joy. You did a good job. No, a great job with me and Brandon. You weren't perfect, but we could not have had a more loving mom. Yes, God chose you for us, for me. Thank you for all you did to provide a safe place to live, good schools, and how you made us go to church and sing in the choir, how you made us kneel by the side of your bed before we went upstairs to bed at night. You always fought for me, even when I didn't want it. You were my best friend, even when I didn't realize it. I want you to know that I did realize it at the end. Thank you for making that nurse bring me crackers. Thank you for getting angry when you felt like I wasn't getting good care. Thank you for always praying for me and sending those prayers and scriptures at the beginning of my day. I thanked you, but what you did meant more than you know. Uncle Jimmy, Brandon, and I didn't say much, but we needed every prayer and every word of encouragement. I know it will take some time before the pain subsides, but be at peace, Mom. Live the full life God intends for you. Have the best, the way I always wanted for you. Laugh a lot and worry a lot less. You have done your best and it was good enough. Now live, okay, Mom? Please live. We will see each other again. I am no longer in pain. I am no longer isolated. When I was in the hospital, I told you I wanted to go home. I didn't really know what I meant. I wanted normal. I wanted peace, love, friendship, success, healing, and no more pain from that injury that happened over 20 years ago. I'm home now. I want you to fight to remember the good times. The time when I came home and said I wanted to play the viola and how ridiculous that sounded to you. Remember the nerve-wracking auditions where you were far more nervous than me. Remember all the concerts. I do. I remember you sitting in the audience every time. Thank you for sending me to orchestra camp in Tennessee. Remember all the trips we took to Rochester at Christmas and how we sometimes got stranded in the snow. Remember how you had a hard time trying to find me shoes that fit. Remember how you felt every time I played my viola and how proud you were. Remember all the lessons you tried to pay for and the expensive instruments you could not afford to buy, but you always wanted me to have the same opportunities as others. I remember. I also remember when there wasn't enough food, but you would let me and Brandon eat, and you would eat if there was anything left over. Thank you for loving us like that. You do not need my forgiveness, but you seem to think you do. So I forgive you for not being a perfect mom. But Mom, nobody would be as good a mom as you are. I know it's hard to let me go. I know, I know it's too painful right now. But when you're ready, let go and let me live on in your heart. After all, you know how unforgettable I am. You have Gabe. Get to know him. I want you to be close. I want you to allow him to get to know you. I want you to spend time with him. Stay near and let him know you are there. Love me through Gabe. Hey, Mom, one last thing. I love you. Your son, the good-looking one. I had a similar experience when my mom died. God allowed me to get a glimpse of her in heaven. It was just a peek, enough to see her beautiful, happy, and well, and enough to bring me peace. Healing doesn't erase the pain. How can there be no pain when we lose someone we truly love? How can we expect not to hurt? How can we hate the tears that represent what we feel in our hearts? So healing doesn't erase the pain, but it does help transform it into something bearable and even meaningful. Our loved ones don't have to be alive for us to make peace. I am so thankful for that. We can write the letter or letters if that's what it takes. We can speak the words that are in our hearts out loud in an empty room. We can cry and scream. We can let all those emotions out. We can sit quietly and pray or simply whisper into the air what's still in our heart. is not about pretending the conflict never happened. It's about choosing to release ourselves from the chains of regret. But if there's one thing unresolved issues teach us, it's that closure isn't about them, our loved one who has left. It's about us. It's about us. Here's the thing. Unresolved issues are part of the human experience. None of us will leave this world with every relationship perfectly closed. Not going to happen. And maybe, just maybe, part of our growth is learning to live with those open ends while still finding peace within ourselves. Unfinished conversations may always leave us with a little ache, but they can also teach us to live differently with more honesty, more courage, and fewer words left unsaid. Some people believe our loved ones know our hearts even if words were never spoken. I believe that. Others lean on faith, trusting that reconciliation is still possible beyond this life. Whatever you believe, you don't have to carry the weight alone. If you're carrying unresolved pain after losing someone, I hope you remember this. It's okay to feel the mix of love and hurt. It's okay to grieve what never was. And it's okay to let go little by little in your own time. Unfinished conversations may always leave us with a little ache, but they can also teach us to live differently. Thank you for spending these moments with me. Thank you for being patient as I got through this particular episode. Thank you for allowing me to share my letter from my son with you. And if today's episode spoke to you in some way, I'd love for you to share it with someone who might need comfort. And if you're walking through this right now, please know that you are not alone and that healing is possible. I remember telling you about a gentleman who talked about what grief was like. This particular group was for parents who have lost a child. So his words were, losing a child is like somebody putting a 25-pound sandbag on each shoulder. The bags are never removed. You just get strong enough to carry them. I found that to be true these 8 months out. I'm not strong, but I'm stronger, and I expect to become even stronger if I just keep putting one foot in front of the other. If I allow myself to grieve, it's okay to grieve. It's even necessary. Please don't allow anyone to tell you you should be over it now. Please don't use those words to your friends or loved ones. Grief is an individual journey. It's different for each of us. But imagine you lose someone you love dearly, and all of a sudden, they're not in your life. Your world has changed, and you will never be the same again. My determination, personally, is to be better because I want to be that for me, and I want to be that for my family, and I want to be that for my son. I want his legacy to live through me. I want to represent him well. So until next time, take care of your heart. Give yourself grace and be gentle with yourself. This is Get Real with Alexis, and I will see you next time. Take care.